Hard computer. Okay. So for today, we will go over the stock or inventory planning method, specifically just the stock to sales ratio method. And my plan was to go over some problems which I feel are pretty easy. And then also include one other step, which would be calculating your planned purchases at retail and going over some problems related to that. So stock to sales ratio method is one of those methods which helps you determine how much you need to have the stock to achieve the sales for that particular month, and it is based on the amount of stock you would have in relation to your sales, and generally used in our industry as well. Most of the times in fashion industry, we use the stock to sales ratio method, and it also gives you a pretty good ratio which tells you how much stock is needed to sell one unit. So generally you will see in the fashion industry or in the textiles and clothing industry, we would have generally about between 2.2 to 3.5. That is that for selling one garment, you need to have at least 2.5 or 3 garments, if you may. Um, High size intensive departments will have greater stock to sales ratio, because if you are starting it from extra small to extra large, then you're going to have to, you will see a larger stock to sales ratio. And again, lower stock to sales ratios are for departments where size is not an issue. So very easy to calculate. Um, okay. So you see down here, you have the formulas, which is BOM stock, or beginning of month stock, which is equal to planned monthly sales times stock to sales ratio. Or again, you're flipping the formula to get stock to sales ratio given the retail stock for that given time period divided by sales. Now, this retail stock is also similar to your BOM stock. So whenever you hear the word stock, BOM stock, or EOM stock, they're all related to your inventory or stock. So I'm not sure if you got a chance to work on the problems. Did you or did you not?
No.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and work on this problem, or do we go over this problem and chat? Okay. So if you had to do problem number 46 in your um, textbook, it's on page number 269. So you have planned sales for the costume jewelry department for April as 130,000, and the stock to sales ratio is 2.4. So what would be the stock figure for beginning of April? You can update in the chat window, which I'm still trying to find out how to. I always have this problem. So you can use one of these, the first one, the planned monthly sales times your stock to sales ratio. Very simple, just multiplying 130,000 times 2.4. Right. So if you did the second one, which was problem number 50, so you're just going to do stock divided by sales. And one of the ways to remember that is even just remembering the phrase stock to sales. So you do stock divided by sales, which would give you your stock to sales ratio. I guess it is 17.42. That's what Mora has. Is Mora correct? Okay. Why don't you go ahead and do problem number 47 on the same page, 269. And you see in this problem, it is the outerwear department and their stock to sales ratio is 5.5, which is very high because the more clothes you have and the sizes you have, the higher your stock to sales ratio is because you need to have that many sizes, that many SKUs to help you do the sales. And in our previous problem where it was the jewelry department, it was little less because for jewelry, you don't have size issues. So go ahead and do problem number 47.
Should our answers be 2 decimal places?
Yes, please. I'm sorry, I did not have that one. And good point. Who was the one who asked that question? Sorry.
Mora.
Yes, thank you for that question, Mara. For this chapter, all dollar figures are going to be to the nearest dollar and any percentages to 2 decimal points, including your stock turnover, which will come in a little bit, and also stock to sales ratio method. Okay, why don't you go ahead and do number 48? Okay, I see that most of you have gotten whoever is worked or is working. Yes, those two are correct answers. 66,000 for problem number 47 and 4.30 for problem number 48. So are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was about stock to sales ratio method. So when we are, let me pull that up. Give me 1 minute. So when we are you all able to see an Excel sheet?
No, it's a PowerPoint.
Is it a PowerPoint? Okay. Okay, got it. Now, do we all see an Excel sheet?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is the problem which we were doing last week, and we will do again at 2 o'clock. So I want to finish this sheet, if you may, um, during our lab session, and then you will all work on a new problem for your lab. So this is where your stock to sales ratio would come for each month. And this is where you would calculate your BOM stock by taking your stock to sales ratio times your monthly sales. So this is how you would translate that concept onto your merchandise plan, and that's how we will do when we are doing our lab portion for today. So coming to the next concept, so I'm going to do a new share again. Is everybody able to see the PowerPoint?
No, now it's on the Excel. Oh, now it's on the PowerPoint.
Okay, good, great. Everybody on the PowerPoint? So the first part of what we looked at was the stock planning method using the stock to sales ratio method. Now, the next part of your merchandise plan would be to plan your purchases or receipts, which would basically depend on all your other aspects or elements of merchandise plan, which we have done till now, which would be sales, markdowns, inventory, which would be BOM and EOM. And I will go over how to calculate EOM. The buyer can plan the amount of purchases or receipts which are needed. They are the dollar amount of merchandise that can be brought into stock during any given period of time. So think about you have about $100,000 to buy your stock for the month of April, for example, and then you're getting this 100,000 based on your calculations of expected sales, your markdown strategy, your inventory for the month of April, and that's how you would come to purchases or receipts. Both of them mean the same. And you can convert them to cost by applying a cost complement for the plan markup percentage. So this is your formula for your planned monthly purchases at retail, which is planned EOM stock plus sales plus markdowns, which would equal to total much required minus BOM, which would give you your planned purchases, which is your, I'm going to do a new share again. So this is what is your planned purchases at retail on your merch plan. So it would be sales plus BOM plus markdowns minus BOM is equal to planned purchases at retail. I'm going back to the slide. Okay, so that's your formula. Sales plus EOM plus markdowns minus BOM gives you your planned purchases at retail. Everybody okay with that concept? Okay, so let's go ahead and do some problems based for the planned purchases at retail. So If you can go ahead, it's a very simple one. It's 68, problem number 68 on page number on page number 290. Sorry. I'm just going to I don't know what's happening. Sorry for that. Is sales plus markdowns minus EOM minus BOM plus EOM. Okay. Let's see if you did get the right answer. So yes, it is 273. Pretty straightforward. So let's do one more problem, which is problem number 71. The only difference here is the markdowns are given to you in percentage. So when they're given to you in percentage, you would take it from your sales. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, great question by Savannah. Is July BOM the June EOM? Absolutely yes. So think about it. Whatever stock I have left on June 30th is going to be the July BOM, or it could be the June EOM. It is 428,000. Yeah, this was my last slide for today. But as I'm thinking, maybe let's just go ahead and do problem number 73. It asks you to calculate the planned July purchases at cost. So leave the cost, just do the retail for now, and then I'll walk you through how to do the cost piece of it. So go ahead and do problem number 73, and just go ahead and do till give me 1 minute. Yes, you should have got 148,500. I see that most of you got that. So when you're converting this 148,500 to the cost value, you're going to do 100 minus markup percent to give you 63,855. It's the same exact formula which we've been using in chapters 2 and 3. So you're just going to take 100% minus 57% or 100% minus markup percent to give you cost percent. And then you do multiply that with your planned purchases at retail to give you planned purchases at cost. Check my answer if I'm correct or not. Okay. Is everybody comfortable with stock to sales ratio and the planned purchases at retail? Do you all feel confident in calculating that? Okay. What's the time? We still have another half an hour. So why don't we do one thing? I was thinking that it might take one full hour to finish all the problems. Is it okay if we finish that um, Excel sheet? And then during the lab, we will do one more. Does everybody have access to your Excel sheets? Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to do a new share. So we are working on that same first problem, which we left off at. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to let me know. Okay. Everybody ready with the sheet? So I'm just going to enter the numbers from our first problem in your merchandise plans PDF, which is on Canvas. So stock to sales ratio. This information is given to you. So now if I had to calculate my plan BOM stock, what I'm going to do this times monthly sales. The stock to sales ratio for that month and the planned monthly sales for that month.
Can you click on that square again just so we can see the equation?
Which square? Okay. This one? Is that what you were saying? So it's stock to sales ratio times your planned monthly sales for that same month.
Okay.
Okay. What we just did in our individual problems. So stock to sales ratio times planned monthly sales for that particular month. Please check my answers if they're correct or not. I need everyone to finish before we go to the next step, which is doing our EOM stock. So to get your planned EOM stock, remember we said the beginning of month for the following month is going to be the end of month for the previous month. So if I had to do the end of month for August, what do you think it would be? And feel free to talk, type, whatever works for you. What do you think? August EOM is going to be thank you, Savannah. September BOM. Because whatever I close my end of month, that's going to be the beginning of month for the next day. So you're going to go ahead and do not type in the numbers, because if something changes, it should update automatically. So do not type in 123,200 and things like that. So just do an equal to sign and go ahead and fill this. Is everybody able to see? Because I just got a message that my internet connection is unstable. Okay, great. Okay. Everybody, I'm hoping that everybody is able to finish till December. And now for January, because we don't have a February BOM stock numbers here, whenever we don't have the EOM stock given to us for the last 6th month, it could be July or January, we always use the average stock number. So for this problem, average stock is given to you as 103,343. It is given to you in red in your problems in your PDF document. So whenever this is not given to us, that is your 6th month EOM, you're going to use the average stock number. Everybody doing okay still? Okay. So I'm going to the next step unless anybody says, no, I'm not ready for it. Okay. The next step is calculating our planned purchases at retail. Remember the formula we just did is sales plus EOM plus markdowns minus BOM. Sales plus EOM plus markdowns minus BOM is equal to planned purchases at retail. Sales plus EOM plus markdowns minus BOM. And the reason we are subtracting beginning of month stock is because that's the stock we already have. And we cannot double dip twice by adding EOM and BOM. Check my answers and let me know if I'm correct or not. I'm going to move on to do your purchases at cost, which we just did in one of the problems. I might have to I'm just zooming in this a little bit. You see here we calculated our initial markup percent last Monday. So the same thing. So I'm going to do planned purchases at retail times I can do 1 minus the percentage, or I can also do, oops, I forgot to put the multiplication sign. Right. So if you see here, it is planned purchases at retail times 1 minus the percentage. If you're doing, you can also type in 100% minus the initial markup percent. Make sure you're not typing in 54.39, but you are taking it to that cell. So anything changes, everything will change automatically. So again, check my answers if these look correct. So you're taking planned purchases at retail times 1 minus the markup percent. No, nobody's talking, Mara. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just didn't know because there's.
No, that's fine. I was just waiting for everyone to finish.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I guess we are done. What I wanted to do, actually, we achieved more. But I do want to hear from you for next Monday. Would the same format work? Because I want to do a class portion of it, and then you guys will do a plan by yourself. So in the lab today at 2 o'clock, my plan is for you all to do one merchandise plan, which is stock to sales ratio, um, just by yourself. Nick, we don't do the totals other than what we have already done for the markdowns and season totals. And you're not turning this one in, but the one which you will do at 2 o'clock, that is the one which you're going to turn it in. And we will plan to do problem number 3 in that same merchandise plans PDF for your lab. So at 2 o'clock, I will be available for any questions, but we will not have session like this, but I'll be available if anybody has questions about how do I do this or how do I do that. But you will be completing problem number 3 on the PDF file and submitting it. So it will also have the same exact thing. So Excel, formula with Excel, and the word formula. So 3 sheets in all. A sheet with just the numbers, a sheet with Excel formulas, and a sheet with word formulas. And I will keep it due for tomorrow because I'm not sure how many of some of you could not join today, and they might have to review the video before they'll be doing it. So I will keep it due till tomorrow 11:59. And yes, you will be attaching in your lab book. Okay, and Eva has asked, where do you say we could find this again? You can find it on Canvas. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yes, your quizzes are going, no changes in your quiz dates. Okay, I'm repeating it again. So when you go to modules, okay, let me. Everybody can see the canvas?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay. So when you go to modules, you will see here merchandise plans PDF. And when you click on that, this is the first problem which we did today. I want you to do number 3 because it is also based on stock to sales ratio method. So this is what you will be submitting for your lab. I'm guessing lab 7. I'll write down all those details on Canvas right after this class. Gianna, does it answer your question? Okay, great. I would say if you don't have anything anything right now to do, maybe just finish it off. So then you will know if you got it or did not get it, kind of a thing. But I will be available at 2 o'clock again if you have any questions. And you will use the blank Excel sheet here as you're doing your labs. Please feel free to leave, and we can meet back again at 2 o'clock.